Is there a support group for us collectors? I feel like a rant is coming on here. Did I make a mistake getting this vintage toy? Today, we're focusing on the Rebel Command Center playset and why such a simple toy has such a rich past. We will go over its history, how to care for it and put it together, and why I think I made a mistake getting this toy. Let's go. Welcome back to the journey. And yes, this is a journey, as I'm going on a quest to collect all the Star Wars vintage playsets made from 1978 to 1984. So if you want to watch the whole thing unfold from episode 1, there's a link in my description. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you can follow the journey. In my previous episode, I talked about the Land of the Jawas action playset made in 1979. It was made at a time when the US was in an economic crisis. Petroleum costs were skyrocketing, causing other things like groceries to increase, even making the cost of toys more expensive. Just a year earlier, the Sears exclusive Cantina Adventure set was made cheaply out of thin cardboard, and it sold well. This reassured Kenner that when they made the Land of the Jawas playset, it could also sell well, and it did. It came with a durable mold-injected plastic base, a mold-injected escape pod, but unlike the cheap thin cardboard backdrop from the Cantina Adventure set, Kenner opted to use a heavier ply cardboard in order to recreate the Sandcrawler. It also added an elevator feature and a storage compartment to this backdrop, along with the battle zone where you could place a figure on the action stand and knock another figure over using a lever. This was a quick and cheap toy that could be placed on shelves right away with not a lot of cost in production. And it's important to know about the Land of the Jawas playset when you're talking about the Rebel Command Center, because you have to know the full backstory of this playset in order to appreciate it. But this wasn't the only playset to use this design feature. Neither was this one. The next playset to use this design was in 1980. The Hoth Ice Planet Adventure set. Knowing the fiasco that the first Star Wars movie brought, where there were no toys available when the movie premiered, for The Empire Strikes Back, Kenner vowed to have new toys ready for kids to buy as soon as the movie hit theaters. And to ensure that, they reused the Land of the Jawas design once again, but this time, the brown base was tinted white. The escape pod was replaced with a radar dish, and the Sandcrawler backdrop was replaced with a cardboard AT-AT. The same elevator feature was kept, and also the battle zone. And again, it sold moderately well. But when it came to the Rebel Command Center, well, what's the story with that? The Empire Strikes Back had already come out, the toys were already on the shelves and selling well. Well, it comes back to the economy. With America coming out of the petroleum crisis and entering a new presidency with Ronald Reagan, people were still unwilling to spend a lot of money on luxuries such as toys. Parents were looking for better values when it came to those items. This is how the Rebel Command Center was born. It was already 1981, and just like the Cantina Adventure set being a Sears exclusive, that set was really made to sell more action figures in a bundle to move those units. And Sears and Kenner would once again team up for Kenner's Wave 4 action figures release of the Empire Strikes Back figures. Figures of the AT-AT Commander, R2-D2, and our hero Luke Skywalker in Hoth battle gear. Those would be available first in a playset, and just like the Cantina Adventure set, it would be made quickly and very cheaply. I mean, dirt cheap. So the same white base was used, and instead of an escape pod or a radar dish, there was no extra accessory added at all. Cheapskate. And replacing the AT-AT cardboard backdrop was a scene of a Rebel hangar at Hoth. Just a simple flat backdrop, this time removing the elevator function to further reduce production costs. Cheap. However, the battle action feature was retained on the base. Yes. Now, you would think that this wouldn't be hard for me to find. It's not the most popular playset out there, let's just be honest. I found my Death Star space station fairly easy, and even my Palitoy Death Star fairly easy. But when it came to this one, I searched at toy shows. No luck there. And I'm on a lot of Facebook groups that sell vintage action figures and playsets. And although I did see a few in the past year and ones that looked really good, by the time I got there and tried to bid, sold out. Even the ones where the sellers told me they were going to put it on the auction block, by the time I got there, somebody had picked it up. They bought those things quicker than a loose hyperdrive on Tatooine. So I went to a place that I really didn't want to go to while on this journey. I started looking on eBay. And here is a lesson for all of you, especially those of you who are trying to complete a vintage run. eBay is easy. Most of the time, you're gonna find what you're looking for. There are a ton of people who are collectors that sell on eBay, and more importantly, who understand what they're selling. But with having bought so many of those action figures on eBay, I had some subpar experiences with the way that those were delivered to me. So when it came to playsets, I was even more cautious because those have so many more parts, so many more things that could be reproduction, and I'm doing an authentic run. And then the most important part, making sure that the seller was gonna package the item and ship the item to me well protected. That is what I was afraid of. And the last thing that I was trying to avoid, is there a support group for us collectors? I feel like a rant is coming on here. eBay is sometimes so easy to buy on that I have trouble saying no to some items that I really should not buy, even if they aren't 100% of what I want. I see it, and just because it's available, I click buy it. And I think that was the case with this one. And here is the unboxing. And to see the full unboxing, there's a link in my description where you can really hear the disappointment in my voice as I'm opening it. But it did come well shipped and protected, and that's super important to me as I'm buying these expensive and delicate collectibles. So if you got this in 1981, these are the items that would have come inside the box. Protecting the items like this would have been the cardboard insert, one white plastic base, the instruction manual, the Empire Strikes Back Dagobah mini catalog, a bag of parts that contained these items, one action button, one snapper cap, one action arm snapper, one action stand, one battle action lever, one main cardboard backdrop of the Rebel Command Center, two cardboard base supports, one small cardboard box that contained 3 action figures, Luke Skywalker in Hoth battle gear, R2-D2 with sensor scope, and the AT-AT commander. But first, these videos take a lot of time, effort, and resources to bring to you. So to make videos like this possible, there's links in my description that support my channel, like visiting my website to find my merch shop, as well as collecting supplies to keep your collection safe and displayed perfectly. Even by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, it helps me out greatly. I also would like to thank my supporters on Patreon, which you can join for as low as $2.50. You get perks like my collecting sheets, exclusive content, member shoutouts, extra entries into giveaways, and early access to see videos. Or become a member right here on YouTube by hitting the join button. For as low as 99 cents a month, you get access to watch videos early, member shoutouts, badges, and extra entries into giveaways. Without your support, these videos would not be possible. All the links are down in my description. Now, back to the video. When you get these from sellers, they often come really dirty and not very well cared for. This was the case for this playset. Looking at the base, you can see how moldy it is. I had to wear gloves and a mask and clean this outside because I had no idea if that was dirt or black mold. So I blasted the base with canned air first to get any caked on dirt loose or mold before I placed this in water. Then I filled a bowl with slightly warm water and I placed a drop of fragrance-free mild dish soap in the water, and using a soft bristled toothbrush, which I had to throw away, I gently scrubbed off all the grime and potential mold off. Now I could have gone a step further and put this in hydrogen peroxide to whiten it even further, but I won't do that with this toy. After scrubbing this, dry it off with a lint-free towel and let this air dry away from sunlight for a day or so. For the cardboard, you can use alcohol-free and fragrance-free wipes for the sides with printed art on it. Don't oversaturate the cardboard, just wipe it enough to get the dirt off. And for the side with exposed raw cardboard, you can use fiber-free cloths the same that you would use to clean your sunglasses. After wiping, let these dry for a day or so away from sunlight. And you can buy all these items on my website at thepadawancollector.com. The link is in the description. Nowadays, when you get this particular playset, it comes already set up. But just in case you get these items loose, here's how to put it together. First, get the white plastic base and flip it over to the underside. Position the snapper arm here. Holding the snapper arm in place, flip the base over to the top side and place the snapper cap at the hole at this area. By pushing it down, it should snap in place. Then, flipping the base over again, install the action lever in this area. The handle will fit through the designated slot. Then, holding the action lever in place, flip the base over to the top side and line the action stand with the holes in the action lever. Push this down and it snaps into place. If the action button isn't already inserted, place the action button into this hole and push down. It snaps into place. Now let's put together the cardboard pieces, starting with the two base supports. Fold the base supports in half, then slide these into the backdrops using the designated tab holes. Be really careful not to fray the cardboard by forcing the supports into the slots. Push the tabs into place and fold the bottom of the backdrop up. Then, putting the white base on a flat surface, slide the base into the backdrop where the notches in the base are. After it's all set up, you have 3 zones of play. There's a cave where either R2 can hang out or a small wampa. There is the battle zone where you can place an action figure on the battle action stand and another figure on the action button, and by turning the lever, the action button pops up, knocking over a figure. Then you have the tundra area. It's really a divot where the radar dish should be, but it's an area where figures can use this as a battleground. And let's finally mark this playset off our list, the Rebel Command Center, that I got from an eBay seller for $225 with shipping included. And I also picked up an acrylic case for $79. And you can pick up this collecting sheet for your own use at thepadawancollector.com. It's fully customizable. So, is this the top playset to come out of the vintage Kenner line? Well, I'm going to do a video where I rank all of the playsets, but let's just go over the facts. It was cheaply made to move action figures. It was the last one to use an already used design, and on top of that, it stripped out a lot of the cool features from previous designs. So no, it's not the best, but it's a part of the Kenner vintage toy history and belongs among the best of the Star Wars toys. And I'm glad to have it in my collection. And if there is one thing that I wish I could have been more patient, and I would have gotten a better version of this playset. And if I was to collect any of my playsets over again and do an upgrade, it will be this one for sure. But it's not like I didn't get a good example, and I'm glad I got the cardboard insert that housed the action figures. And often when you buy these playsets, that item is the one thing that will be missing. And buying that cardboard on its own, it's a pretty penny if you want to get one in good condition. And the box that I have is in good condition. So join me on the next episode where I go over this toy, the Cloud City playset. It's a really small box. It's taken me over a year to find this one. It was a roller coaster of emotions, but honestly, I bought a banger of a playset. So join me on that adventure and what exactly this toy is, how to care for it, and its rich history. So to see that video, click on your screen right now. And as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time.